What's going on? My name is Brodie. This is the Creative Spotlight presented by Brodie, and this is one of the most special ones ever because I'm here on a business trip. I'm here with one of my longtime friends. Haven't seen him in so long. We're in the City of Angels. We're here with the champs, the Lakers. It's beautiful out here. The weed is incredible. Santa Monica was incredible, packed, but honestly, it was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to look at. I found my own little space. How you been out here, man? How's it treating you?
It's literally amazing. I think people think that I just smoke weed for a living.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people from where we're from, I don't know, I think that's just what they think I do. But no, I've been out here for 3 years, man, and the grind's real. This city will try to eat you alive, but that's why you got to be stronger and have a positive mindset that that's not going to happen. And as you can see, it hasn't, because I'm standing before you.
Yeah, for sure. You think it made you stronger, personally?
Hell yeah. It made me into a man, bro.
It's like a trial by fire thing. Some people make it, and it makes you stronger.
Dude.
Or you don't get stronger.
I've watched so many people come out here and have a goal.
Yeah.
And just get lost in the LA bullshit, and the next thing you know, they move home because they don't accomplish anything they came out here to do. You know?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it might be like, oh, the weed, the partying, the parties in the hills, but you got to remember why you came out here, man. Because just chilling in a state, paying $1,400 for a room and $4 for gas just to do nothing is not fun.
I saw five.
Dude, Beverly Hills, oh my God, $5 a gallon, dude. This state,
yeah, that's where I was. I was in Beverly Hills.
This state, man, like, if you drive a Prius, like, dude, that's the hardest thing. That's like the hardest flex. If you drive a Prius, you're rich.
Yeah.
Because you drive for Uber and you got like 60 miles a gallon.
That's
the hardest flex. Like if you have a pickup truck, like say you have a Ford Raptor out here and someone sees you driving down the road, they're like, you fucking idiot. Like, go back to Texas. You don't need a Ford Raptor here. Like, what are you, working construction and have a $100,000 truck? You idiot.
It's expensive out here.
Like, how many miles a gallon do you get? Like 4, dude?
Other than money, what kind of hardships? What other hardships are out here? Like the people. I'm assuming it's different. It's got some differences from Maryland.
I think, honestly, man, I think the worst perception that people have of LA is that everyone out here is superficial. That like everyone just like is shitty towards you if they can't help themselves. But what I've found out here, man, and before I babysit this blunt, let me give it back to you.
Oh, enjoy that. You're all right.
What I found out here, man, is this whole mindset that you have to that people have of LA is created by people who move out here and think that they need to act a certain way because they are now in LA. The people who are actually from LA, like, they don't care who you're in a club with, they don't care who you saw, they don't care what you're doing, like, they're just like, who are you as a person? Just like any other place, And the sooner people realize that when they come out here, that literally if you just are yourself, like, it's authenticity, man. It's 100% authenticity. I watch people all the time at the club with Supreme and Gucci on, and they're like, hey, bro, like, can you just like call me an Uber home? Like, I got you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's not because they had fraud on their card. It's because they're broke.
Priorities.
It's because, bro, that Gucci belt at that club gave them the validation we have other people in the room. Give them the validation that they needed when, in actuality, the priorities are, like you said, are fucked up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you were saying being genuine is really one of the main things that will get you further out here. And it's funny because that's one of the ways we met. There's just a genuine connection there in Maryland.
Stevenson University.
Yeah, you remember? You remember that day?
Of course.
First day we met?
Shout out Corey Love for
Shout out to Corey Love.
That was awesome.
Yeah, you were the first person I recorded with. And Spark, do you remember why I sparked? You remember that whole that bet we made? It was a rock, paper, scissors bet.
No way.
Yeah.
I really don't remember.
If I won, it was rock, paper, scissors. If I won, you bought me food. If I lost, I had to hit the GB and you would still buy me food.
Yeah. Okay. Also, the first time I ever smoked weed was out of a gravity bong, and I don't know why someone did that to me and why I did that to you, but like that is the worst way to start smoking weed. Like you get violently high, like oh, let me just milk this thing full of smoke and just like that's the first smoke my body ever hits. Like what? Like take a puff from a joint. Like I don't know, hit someone's like oil cartridge, but a gravity bong is like the most aggressive way to smoke weed. Like I don't know why we thought we were cool doing that shit.
Don't worry, I ended the chain. I have not taken anyone's smoking virginity with a GB. Do it at your own discretion. That's all I need.
But then again,
it was definitely one of my most.
That's the most efficient way to smoke weed, man. Like we would make a gram of weed last us a full week because think about it, when you're smoking a blunt, like the weed constantly burns off, and if it's in that GB, it gets sucked. Like everything is just sucked into that water bottle. Like you get 99% of what you lit, and it'll wreck you. It will fuck you up.
What's your favorite way to spark? Is that it? Jeebs or dabs? Dabs.
I enjoyed blunts a lot just from like hanging out in Baltimore when I was recording music. That's what everyone smoked in the studio was backwoods.
That's
and
how it is.
I became accustomed to backwoods. But since I've been out here, they've got some really amazing oils and different type of extracts that are incredibly tasty. Like some of the terpenes in them are nuts. And I know for all you non-weed smokers, they're like, dude, you are just going outside of my weed spectrum right now. But to make a long story short, just the flavor is crazy in some of these dabs out here. And if you just get yourself a nice piece of glass, you can definitely elevate your weed smoking experience.
You definitely get the people hip out there. I know you probably know a lot more being out here for so long.
Yeah.
I just want to take another moment just to give you your flowers and just say thank you for getting me started with music. That was a crazy day. Corey just brought me there because he knew I liked rapping and he knew Jordan had his equipment and he was like, I'm just going to take you guys there. And Jordan was a nice guy. He taught me a lot. I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you, man.
Of course.
Great guy.
Well, dude, I mean, your lyricism is nuts. And whenever, I needed to write a song when I was, back in the day and I had like writer's block, I would call you and be like, yo, what do you hear on this? Next thing you know, I'm using like half of your verse and you're just like cool with it. You're like, dude, and I don't know, able to bounce ideas off of your friends and have them help you and collaborate opposed to being competitive, which a lot of people wherever you come from are incredibly competitive. They'll call you out, hey bro, when I sent you were totally chill about it, and we've made some dope music since. So.
You're definitely a collaborator because you also help other artists and write for them, and you do your own songwriting and you do your own reference tracks. You're a very open-minded guy, and
of course
you definitely. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, you're very open-minded, very creative. You care about getting. I think you definitely care about getting the best product to the listener. No matter what, and that's something that I gotta say I respect a lot.
Yeah, but it's like it also sucks, man, because like part of me is just a perfectionist, right? So like my friends, like I'll show them a song and they'll be like, "This is dope," like put it out, and I'll I don't know what it is, but I'll have a problem with it, and then it just never comes out, and like that's my biggest issue is sometimes I just need to like say fuck it, just put it out, and move on, and stop trying to like micro manage my own song that I'm trying to create. So.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, definitely. Back on that topic of when we were talking about how genuine you are and how you started music for me, what were some things that started music for you, if you don't mind sharing?
To be completely honest with you, man, I thought it was just a really, really dope outlet where I could get my emotions out. I started music when I was about 15, started playing the guitar when I was 16. And when I was like 18 years old, my parents were going through a divorce, and I was playing college baseball at the time, and music kind of gave me things that college baseball just didn't do for me anymore. So I know the same thing with you, man. Like you play college basketball, and bro, I've been playing baseball since I could walk, dog. And you've been playing basketball, I'm sure, probably the same time. But at the end of the day, I would go to a baseball game and I would do really well, but I just wouldn't get the same thing that I would get out of it by just kind of being in my own headspace and just sitting there and getting all my emotions out.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And that's why I kind of gravitated more towards music until the point where I just said, you know what, screw this, I want to drop out. Like, this is what I want to do full time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, 4 or 5 years later, man, look where I am now. And I'm in Los Angeles. I'm not a stupid, successful musician, but I can definitely say I'm happier. And I wouldn't take it back for the world. I really wouldn't. I made a great decision. So.
Talk about that time before, since you started making music in Maryland, till the time you came out here. Talk about that time, like what was going on in your career? I know you had some people you worked with, so you learned some lessons.
Yeah, I learned. I signed with a smaller label out of Baltimore for a little bit, and you know, we didn't really get along. I felt like I was getting taken advantage of. I didn't have, you know, a whole lot of creative control, and you know, when I got out of that, it was like the whole time I'm like, yo, fuck you guys, like no one's gonna treat me like this. But now looking back, man, I didn't even know who I was as an artist. I made like 5 songs, 6 songs, and although they saw some potential, like I couldn't sit down and be like, this is who I am. Like, I remember someone asked me, like, if you had one song that would define you as an artist, pick one. And I didn't have a song to give them. Like, I'd be like, oh, I made this song, but this doesn't define me. Like, this is just one.
That's
you know?
that's a sign of that.
And I realized, bro, I think they were just trying to figure out who I was and just apply it to me. But every time they tried to, like, figure out who I was, I would just tell them it was wrong. So now looking back, I probably wasn't the best artist to manage. But that being said, I needed time to kind of figure out who I was, continue making music, you know, find my way out here, talk to some more artists, see how artists work out here in LA, go to some studios, go to some writing sessions, collaborate with certain people. And as a result, you know, 5 years down the road, bro, like, I'm compiling so much music. I don't have anything out. I got 25 songs sitting in my, you know, on my computer, but I can tell you that when I put this stuff out, people are gonna be like, this is not the same Szarko we saw 3 years ago, you know? So it's a growing process, and I'm happy with that.
For sure.
Because I don't owe anyone anything to put music out as quickly or as slowly as they want. I'm going at my own pace right now, and I'm 100% happy with that.
Yeah, and out here, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of people to make. So even if you're not putting out music, you're still working. You're still networking, which is...
Bro, I had to make rent. I had to make rent before I could put songs out. You know, it's like people have this dream, like, I'm going to go out to LA and I'm just going to grind. And like, bro, grind. Yeah. But I'm telling you, bro, you work 50 hours a week just to pay your rent. Like, you come home, sometimes your creative bubble is burst. Like, in your mind, you're like, I want to blow up for music. But your brain is like, bro, go to bed. You'll have work tomorrow at 9 a.m. Like, you're not getting anything done today except where you're going to fuck up tomorrow at work because you're so damn tired. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what, maybe... So this quarantine's actually helped me a lot because fortunately enough, you know, I'm getting unemployment. I actually get to see what it's like to sit home and have that lifestyle to get paid to sit home and make music. And I'm trying to make the best of it, but I can also see how frustrating it is because we got a lot of time on our hands out here, dude.
I think it's actually a really good thing for the music industry. Obviously not because people can't perform and can't see artists, but a lot of artists that are getting paid to make music that have day jobs, they get a lot of time now to focus on their craft. And for people that don't just listen to what's being played on the radio or whatever, and for people like you and I who are working, it gives us a lot of time to build on that, and that's good.
It's also manifesting the mindset, man. Like if you and I both, like, say we come out with a song tomorrow that blows up, and we start getting a steady income off of Spotify and Apple Music, and we don't have a real job, like, this is how my life. That's a big ass plane.
Yes.
Shout out Burbank Airport, being right down the street from my house. But bro, like, you know, it's the only difference between you and me and someone like Russ right now is he's doing the same thing we're doing, except he's doing it in his mansion in Atlanta, Georgia. He's just sitting home making music, bro. That's all he's doing. Having, like, oh, he wants to shoot a music video. Okay, come to my house. Let's set up a little set, just like Tekashi 69 did in his pad in New York. You know, filming like 4 music videos in the same fucking room with different paint. You know, but this is the lifestyle. Like, you know, I wake up, I make myself some avocado toast and coffee, and I sit down and try to get creative.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I just don't have to worry about work, which is kind of cool.
Talk about that process of getting ready to start creating, getting into that workflow. Talk about some of those different ventures and different ways you get into that mind state. I know for me, I like to smoke a little bit of weed before I make some music. I'm sure you do.
I think it's a huge myth where people say, I don't know. Let me start over. I just think it's crazy how when people are in studios, like they're smoking the whole time. And if you have a 4-hour session, and like I understand you might want to look cool for the gram, or you might want to, but dude, there's times like if I'm smoking for 4 hours, bro, like I'm dumb. Like I'm not getting anything done. But for me, the creative mindset is like smoke a little bit of weed, get the juices flowing, maybe have some coffee if you're feeling way too tired. But bro, I don't know how these motherfuckers be smoking like 5 hours in the studio. And I'm like, dude, how are you not like, do you need a glass of water? You've been smoking a backwood for 5 hours? Like, how long is your block?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it all depends on the tolerance. Tyler, you want to hit this?
Yeah.
Cool. I guess it all depends on your tolerance. Coming out here to LA, there's so much to do. Are you doing anything else other than just music? I know you say you obviously had to get a job and things like that because it's so expensive out here.
Yeah, so before quarantine, my roommate and I, JB, we were working at Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, which is dope. You know, I've been a server ever since I was 18 and started off at like Shannon's in Ellicott City, moved up to Bonefish. Next thing you know, I'm serving in steakhouses, and now the Four Seasons, which it's an awesome place to work for. But even that, man, even serving, I don't know, it's mindset. I compare it to music. You know, I always wanted to be the best I could be. Same with music, same with serving. I mean, you could work at Outback Steakhouse, or you could work at a 5-star restaurant. And people are like, oh, you're still serving? Like, no, bro, I sell people $600 bottles of wine on a Monday afternoon.
And that money is what you can invest into your dream.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and to anyone who wants to come out here and do music, if you guys have this mindset that you're gonna come out here and just blow up overnight, you better get good at something. You better get good at a skill. Mine was serving. You know, come out here, grind on that, but also grind on your music. You're gonna have 70-hour work weeks, 40 at your job and, or 50 at your job and another 30 if you want to make that music happen.
Yeah.
So expect to work harder.
For sure.
But also have something you're good at, bro. You can't just come out here and just asking your parents to pay rent for you like that.
Absolutely.
It's not the vibe.
Alright, we're going to do something a little fun.
Okay.
I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind when I say a word.
Alright.
Alright? You can try and be quick. Feel free to take your time. Don't take too much time, alright?
Heard.
Okay. You want this, or I'm cool to hit?
No, go ahead. I want to be in. I want to be in this. Go ahead.
Here we go. Music.
Logic.
Love.
Hate.
Alcohol.
Weed.
Donald Trump.
Trash.
That one took the longest. That's funny.
I had to think who I was gonna piss
That
off.
was a surprise.
I just had to think like who I was gonna piss off, and then I realized I just didn't even care, so I just said it.
Does he care? Anyway. Plants.
I got a lot of them. I know that was a sentence, but if y'all can see my apartment right now, I fuck with plants. I even got a weed plant growing on my balcony.
Yeah, even though we're in LA, breathing here is like probably better than, I don't know, Maryland. It's crazy.
Bro, there's times where I'll be like, hey Siri, what's the temperature? And it's like, don't go outside. It's not healthy to breathe. And I'm like, bet. So I got a lot of plants. I fuck with the snake plant the most. That purifies the air out of all my plants the most.
That's efficient. I'm actually inspired by this. I'm probably gonna get a couple more plants back in my crib.
You know what's crazy, bro? Where is... Okay, so that right there, that little monstera thing, like I had a plant growing and I literally just cut the leaf and put it in that jar, and then there's a root growing out of it, and then I'll just replant that and it'll be another plant. So like whenever my friends come over and they want a plant, I just cut one off of my plant and I make them a plant.
Let me see if I can get this. Yeah, this thing is self-growing. This is just one.
There's a, hold on, like if I lift it up, I'll show you. Check this out. Look at the root that's growing out of the bottom of the plant. This is just a leaf, like a stem that I cut off.
That's crazy.
So we change the water every week, get it to grow,
yeah,
and then you plant it, and that's what we did. So we had another one planted this, and this leaf came. This is the new one, and it's gonna keep growing more.
That's crazy.
I'm a plant dad, not bad.
I got one last word.
Yeah.
Lane Brodie.
Greatness.
Thank you. That's definitely something.
You are bound for greatness, my friend.
Absolutely. Likewise, ditto. Coming to the end of this, I kind of want to get a little serious, but I kind of want to get your thoughts on 2020, all the madness going on, all the darkness that's going on racially, the pandemic, you living here, Cali fires. Do you see light at the end of this? Are you a hopeful guy? Are you optimistic? Or are you just like, this is it?
Like this whole year?
Yeah. You think it's only down from here? I've heard people saying that this is the best it's gonna be. I've heard some people saying it can't get worse than this. And
I'm gonna put it this way.
Yeah, that's not correct.
I always am optimistic, right? Because the more positivity that you put out into the world, the more positive your life is going to be. You know, the law of attraction, right? But honestly, if I could just categorize this, I would say it's a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for climate change. I mean, look at all the fires that's happened. It was a wake-up call just for the way people move when they're out. You know what I'm saying? Now, if people say the COVID flu is over. If someone has the regular flu, they're going to go out with a mask on now.
Yeah.
Which, if they're sick, that's just how they're going to move now, which I think is going to be great for the spread of diseases in the future. People are going to be like, hey, remember COVID, if you're sick, like this is just the way you're supposed to move in public, like be mindful.
Absolutely.
And then also, finally, with all the political stuff going on, I think it's made people pay attention more now than ever. Because, bro, I mean, last election, we only had, 50 or 60% of Americans voted, bro?
Yeah.
And I mean, say what you want about your vote counting and not counting, but I mean, people are now paying attention to politics. Bro, I know I didn't really pay attention to politics until just these past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of just putting things in perspective for people that they need to start paying attention to the way they move around the world.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was definitely a historic year, and the point of history is to look back at the past and learn from it.
For sure.
Get lessons from it. And this is definitely a very historic year for us to learn lessons. I went to a couple protests, and
In Baltimore?
yes,
How were they?
they were, in DC. I went to one in DC, and it was
Were they peaceful?
very positive. Absolutely,
Positive,
absolutely.
awesome.
Very positive, very inspiring. Just seeing the passion that people have for change, that affects
Hell
me.
yeah.
Obviously, they're out there they're talking to someone else, but that talks to me, and it was just incredible. Were there any protests here? Obviously, no.
Shit, dude, that's the one thing that I just forgot to mention is definitely how the civil rights movement is still happening today.
Absolutely.
I hate when people talk about the civil rights movement of 19. Yeah, that's when it started. It's still going on today. We're still pushing, and I think these protests were great. And honestly, the worst thing was seeing all the bullshit on Twitter and the news of how the media reported a lot of these, and they're violent, they're this and that, and dudes, me personally, I wasn't at the protest, but I had so many friends who were like, dude, this was so peaceful. And I go home and I'm happy that we walked through Hollywood and we had a peaceful protest, and I look at the news and the news says something was broken or something was broken into, and it's like, dude, like,
oh yeah,
why you just had 10,000 people march and you had one incident, and that's the thing you're broadcasting. Now, granted, I'm sure there's definitely some cities who got hit hard in certain areas by certain select groups that had their own personal reasons in mind, but I don't think that had anything to do with what people are fighting for, and that's peacefully fighting for the justice and the rights that minorities have deserved in this country for years that they're still not getting today.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that we gotta do. We gotta change. We gotta vote.
For sure.
Go
vote.
We have to be aware. We have
Go vote.
Share what's going on. There's a lot of things that people don't know. We were actually, it's kind of off topic, not racial, but we were talking about, Vita was telling me about how the governor apparently was trying to pass a bill, or maybe it's already passed, a move-out tax, and
Governor Newsom, yeah.
and that's ridiculous. It's like if you don't know something, then it can go by you, but you gotta know, you gotta be aware, be informed.
Yeah, I was telling Lane about how Governor Newsom was talking about something about a move-out tax, where so many people were moving out of LA that if you move to another state, you go to do your taxes. You do your taxes on when you lived in California, and on top of that, there's basically a you moved out tax, which I think is bullshit. I mean, the state is already taxing the shit out of you for everything else, but I just, if you're not aware of these things and you just let it go or you don't vote, like, the government will pass these notes, or not these notes, these laws. They will pass a move out tax right under your nose. So being aware is the number one thing. That's why I say, like, pay attention to politics, because you might not give a shit until you have to pay a fucking move out tax for no reason, when you're like, damn, I probably should have voted, and if you're aware, make your friends aware. Text them, be like, guys, I just found this out. Isn't that shit crazy? Like, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, share this stuff. Social awareness, social media is a great tool for that. Moral of the story, pay attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is definitely the moral of the story. Vote, be aware, be active in today, and wherever you are, try and bring light to this darkness. Don't be discouraged, be optimistic.
Yeah.
We as artists, I know I personally have been seeing all this, and like it's impacted my art. I've been thinking of different ways to incorporate just positive messages, and inspiring people to go out and do something that changes the world. I've been thinking of different ways I can do that, and I know you have as well. And honestly, I think that's just like a great place to end this on.
Yeah.
Jordan Szarko, I love you, man.
Bro, all the way from Stevenson University to 2,000 miles away, came out to visit me here in LA. Like,
absolutely.
It's been a great week.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to do another one of these in not too long. Can't wait. Hope you have a blessed day.